Hey everybody, it's Murgle, and today for the 3 hour Is It Worth It thing, I'm going to be inside of Wailing Caverns killing stuff. Now, as you see, I'm on my Hunter. It's not specifically that Hunter's better for this. Actually, I would use my Rogue, but this is a few times that I don't want to because I need somebody who can skin, and my Hunter knows skinning. And I figure, he's the fastest class I got that's got skinning because I'm not going to be hit anytime soon, so I can use Aspect of the Cheetah with no problem and move through the instance pretty fast. So, the reason being is when you skin the monsters here, you can get Deviate Scales and Perfect Deviate Scales, and while the Deviate Scale belt is no longer obtainable the pattern-wise in-game, if you already knew it on one of your leather workers, you can still make it, and it does sell really well, at least for my server it does. Maybe not so much yours, but I'm sure there's somebody that would want to collect it for transmog purpose, because, as I said, no longer obtainable, so people usually pay a lot more for that kind of stuff. My server, I can sell the belt for like 5k, and it's not very hard to sell. So, while it's faster to farm on a rogue, I don't want to drop either one of his professions just to pick up skinning for like the one instance I would most likely use it. So I'm just going to do it on my Hunter. Other than that, there is a zone-specific pet drop called Deviate Hatchling. Pretty rare, off of course, the Raptors. And a pair of gloves. Gloves of the Fang. Let's look them up. They're a twink glove. That's what people mostly use them for. So, I don't know if it shows up. Yep, Gloves of the Fang. They can drop off the Druids, I believe, is the only thing that it can drop off of. Maybe it's a zone drop, or maybe it's just the Druids, but I thought I remember reading somewhere that only the Druids can drop it. And it's just like the Deviate Gloves, kind of, except they flip it around. It's 6 stamina and 4 agility on Deviate Gloves, and this one's 6 agility and 4 stamina. So it depends on what the twink's going for. Is he going to sacrifice some HP for more agility, or vice versa? It really depends on what kind of twink they're building. So we're going to do that. Oh, and I did say I would explain Loot Appraiser. Okay, so this little interface right here, and when you just click it, it pops this up, and you can close it and re-click it. It won't restart the thing by any means unless you press 2 or not. So what it is this is your time going. Let's say you got to go to the bathroom, and you don't want it to keep going. You hit stop, and then when you're back from the bathroom, restart, or it'll restart the moment you loot something. So looted item value. This is just what it goes based off of your whatever you set it as for the looted item value. So if it says it's 3k, it'll pop 3k over here, and then it tells you roughly your gold per hour. So it could be 40k over here, but maybe if you've done it 3 hours, it would only say 13.3k on the gold per hour, of course. Currency looted is just your actual gold value looted. So I loot 5 gold, it's going to say 5 gold currency looted. This is the total amount of items you loot. So if you loot a stack of 100 silk cloth, it actually counts it as 100 silk and not one stack of an item. So this will be a really high number. I mean, it doesn't really pertain unless you really want to talk about how many items you loot. And finally, noteworthy items. It's just how many items it thought whatever you set the value as, that's how many items drop that were at least at what value you specify. So when you right click it, it'll open up the interface. Now, quality filter, you can set it to take only items down to poor, or you can set it to only count items that are at least epic. So I mean, we're talking items that are poor can be any item you would essentially loot, because obviously if it's poor quality, it's going to pick up every item. So I leave it at poor because that way we know how many items I'm looting and how much they're worth. You can set the threshold for when it'll pop up. When you see all loot an item special, it'll pop up over here. The threshold determines which items will pop up. So if this is set to 100 gold, if the item is at least 100 gold valued, according to what you set it as, it will pop up over here. So if you have this set to 1,000, it'll only pop up if the item's valued at least 1,000. Now the price source is where it's taking that information from. I use Auction DB market value, which is a trade skill master setting, and that's where it gets my information that determines the values. It takes the world market values, puts them together into the auction house database market values. So if it says an item is worth 400 gold, this is based off of what other people on other servers have successfully sold it for, etc., 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 and compiles it down until it comes to a market value. So while on one server it might only sell for 5 gold, that's a possibility. But on another server, a bigger server, maybe it could sell for 1500. So the value of that, if you go in the market value, the middle would be about 750. It would say that value is 750 for this item. So that's why sometimes you guys say, well, I can't sell it as well on my server. I'm sorry, I'm just going off market values. Like my server, a lot of times the market value is lower than what I'm capable of selling most of my items for. So that's why I try and base it off market value, because it's the most general accurate numbers. So that's where it comes from. Sell trash. I don't bother with this because I don't put anything on my trash trade skill master, but if you have something on your destroy list on trade skill master, you can click this, so when you hit sell trash, which is an option on the item, you would click it and it would sell any items that you consider trash. So you can have a whole bunch of greens in there if you don't even care about them. And then the other things, not too more important, really. Like this will just, it's when it pops up and shows it saying 2600 looted, 1500 looted, whatever it is, it'll pop up just like you would any kind of floating combat text. So I know that was really long, guys, but I did say I would explain what Loot Appraiser does. And anyways, let's get on with the video. So here we are at the completion. Now I did end up stopping it a bunch because I was doing stuff, and then sometimes I would forget to stop it and it would run. So not exactly 100% 3 hours right here, but fairly accurate description. So about 26,000, 26,500 I would say would be our average for the 3 hours according to the market values. I did receive 3 gloves of the Fang, so those are worth about 2k apparently. Pretty good. I didn't get a single pet. I didn't do a lot of clears because I wasn't moving as fast on my hunter, of course, and I was skinning, so that slows down a lot of timing. I don't know if it would be more efficient to just farm with the rogue and avoid the skinning, or to go with the hunter and skin. So, not positive on that. My thoughts probably would be better to just go with the rogue and clear it as fast as possible, avoiding the skinning. Probably would have a better profit margin. Now, I did get enough scales. This isn't all of them. I did mail away quite a few, but in total, I got enough to make... Don't remember exactly how much each time costs, but I believe I have enough to make about 10 belts. So if you go by that ratio, 10 belts, if I can manage to sell them 4 to 5k each, because that's what they go for on my server, being rare and all, probably could get a good 40 to 50k. Now, obviously, maybe not as much on every server, but those belts are worth quite a bit. And if you don't know the pattern, look for a leather worker that's been around a long time. It was a really common pattern a long time ago, but when they removed the quest where you obtained it, obviously it became a lot more rare. So that pattern usually goes for like 20k on the auction house for here, and that's only if it manages to pop up because somebody had it in their bags. So not very hard to, easy to come by, but you might find somebody who knows the pattern, and if you collect these scales, you could probably convince them to make you a couple belts for, a moderate tip, maybe 25 to 50 gold per belt. And if you get 10 belts out of it, they get 500 gold free, and you get the belts, which you can possibly resell for a huge profit. So that's a suggestion too, if you think the belts would sell well on your server. The other stuff in here worth a decent amount is prospectors. Didn't realize this set was worth so much, but I did get a couple of those. The shield, got 2 of these. Pretty cool looking shield. It looks like the shield from Crash or whatever, the little turtle, but a little bit different, I think. And that's about it. Nothing really other special. So definitely, if you're coming here, I think you're better off going with a rogue and just burning through it. Don't even bother skinning, because you will get a few more of these, but these can drop too. You don't have to necessarily skin them. They can be dropped off the monsters, so you'll be clearing the instance much faster and most likely collect more of these because you're clearing it a lot faster. So it's a balance of probably better to clear it on a rogue. You'll get more out of it and definitely more profit. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope my explanation of the loot appraiser add-on was adequate, and yeah, we'll be stopping in Shadowfang Keep next. So we'll see where that goes. Alright everybody, thanks for watching, have a good one.